We're going to start this Rotic report with Gage. Gage?
Gage?
Yeah.
Uh, like him sitting there. What was he saying about oh, he had a pistol and you had an AK? Like 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 it was no big deal. Like one was better. Like
Like the bullet intended for the pistol was a less lethal option,
yes,
right? Right.
yes. I was flipping out.
Okay, how about when he was trying to persecute him over um, when Gage, had the gun towards him, and he's trying to say, well, he had his hands up. And Kyle obviously said, but he still came at me. It's not like, an advancing target is not a threat. They're trying to
Yes.
say that anybody there, after Kyle witnessing them, one person with a death threat towards him and his group, that right there kind of incites this is coming from their group. Even though multiple times they were saying that, the guy saying that is not with us, so.
Yeah, and then he was sitting there saying, well, after you shot him in the arm, and he was saying, medic, medic, why didn't you help him? I just shot him. You think he wants me to fucking help him?
But the thing about it is, oh, he's no longer a threat. His gun was still in his hand.
Yes.
So all you got to do is take the gun from one hand and move it to another.
The other one. Exactly.
He is still an imminent threat at that point.
Yes.
And if Gage tried to say he wasn't an imminent threat to Kyle Rittenhouse, that right there was a lie. Right? That right there was the lie when right after he had shot Rosenbaum.
We should be talking.
I am. Right after he shot Rosenbaum,
yep,
he ran after Kyle. And, oh, who'd you shoot? Who'd you shoot? So right there. And then that was an aggressive act. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your gun? And right then and there, that was like telling that he was going to come after him.
Yeah. Exactly. So why? That's just this DA is just freaking stupid.
Well, I wouldn't say stupid. He just has he has a job to do, and trying to get Kyle to slip is
stupid.
his job.
He's just stupid.
Well, the way he went about it, angering the judge, was a very stupid move.
Stupid.
Like, incredibly stupid move. The judge admonishing him over that, just like, we did not put this in front of the jury because I said no. How many times do I have to tell you fucking kids I said fucking no? Come on, America. This is like 75-year-old dad, like, trying to be like, I am ashamed of you. Like, the look at him.
He's
look
like, you've been in my courtroom before.
Right.
This isn't the first time you had a trial.
Look at this
in my courtroom.
Look at him when the judge is fucking going off, because you see the judge's face, but you don't see the persecutor's face until afterwards, and they switch to the View on some feeds. The feed I was watching, at least, and
I was making dinner. I couldn't keep watching it the whole time, but I was just like,
see, that's Redd Rotic. She makes the exotic meals for the Rotic Report. So, but she is very, very versed, so I'd love to have her opinion on things like this. So, when Kyle broke down on the stand, what's your views on that? Did it seem genuine? Because a lot of the emotion that Kyle's been portraying is being like wiped away by the mainstream media. They're not even looking at him on the camera views during some of these key points of the testimony against him, but they're saying, "Oh, he has no emotion."
Well, yesterday when the I do not know her name, the lady that was testifying yesterday, where she was showing what they were showing the pictures of. I'm horrible with names. When they were showing the pictures yesterday, he looked to me that he was wiping away tears, or wiping his face. So he looked like he was showing emotion there, to me.
Right.
That's my personal opinion. But today, breaking down on the stand and stuff like that, he didn't want to take anybody's life. And I couldn't imagine being put in that, situation or anything like that. I think, he went out there to give aid to anybody that needed it and to, put out, like he said, any kind of fire or protect, them businesses. So I just felt like, that was really genuine, whatever. Can't say it, but it's sad. It's really, really sad.
You got on to the point where he was trying to render aid. Do you see him as trying to render police aid also? Because he had a firearm.
I don't know. I don't think he was going out to like, oh, put your hands up. I'm going to arrest you and take you to the police department. No.
Right, and if the persecution tomorrow tries to lead on to this vigilante side, or like, oh, he was doing the job of the police, he's a paramedic, he's a fireman putting out fires, of course he's a policeman policing the protesters too. Do you see any evidence that points towards that? Because we've seen videos that they aren't showing the jury too, because of evidence being not admitted. And then we're also seeing stuff that we've never seen before, like the FBI cameras.
No, that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But
it's exotic.
Yeah,
it
is.
It
was.
It
really is. But I think he was just trying to help out. I think he was just trying to help out his father. He said his father lives there. His father's community is what I heard him say.
He did.
And the prosecution was, trying to like, oh, it ain't your community. Why was you there? It was his father's community. But even if it wasn't his father's community, this is his world. This is United States of America. This is his world.
Well, the Rotic Report is based only 15 minutes away from our major local metropolitan city, right? We're close. We're 15 minutes away. So I would say where we live, we're from there. Mm-hmm. So that's what you're trying to say about Kyle, correct? Yeah. This is his world. This is only 15 minutes away. Now, I'm not sure. I didn't look very deep into his background. Could that high school he was cleaning be his high school? Is that, or his friend's high school, or his dad went there?
It possibly could have been.
How many different connections are we not privy to because of we don't know Kyle?
I don't know, but it could have been.
It could.
But even if it wasn't, it had no connection to him at all. But I mean, come on now. He was trying to help out a community, and it's really, really, really sad that he's being prosecuted for trying to help out a community that really it needed. It was being burnt down. Businesses were being burnt down, and it was sad.
we can also touch base businesses and livelihoods, and there's a domino effect that a business has within its own community, not with just the lives that it touches with their employees, but it brings in commerce to an area. Those cars that were having their windows smashed out or completely trashed and burned, that was $20,000 worth of commerce per that the community is losing. And when we fight against the police, the one people that are there to do the job and keep us from burning our communities like that, and we incur that much loss, the deaths on top of that is just astounding. People trying to harm other people because they try to stop this destruction. Kyle wasn't trying to harm anybody that was destroying any property.
No, he was not.
Was there any indication that Kyle was harming someone, destroying property?
No. And I never heard him say, I'm going to shoot you if you don't get off of this property or anything like that. I never heard any testimony that he said he was going to do any kind of harm or anything like that.
How about the group? The group. There was one instance, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
And it was perfect because there is a slogan that 3%ers or people that attest to that mentality, don't tread on me, will use. And that is fuck around and find out. And that means if you will do something that will harm me, you will find out the consequences. That can be interpreted by a crowd that you will be harmed by a weapon. Sure. But Kyle never once said that.
No.
So Kyle's indication in that is very weak. And them bringing it up is also weak. You know?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that happened today on this case. And we have watched previous days too, and pretty much let it get to a head here before we made any kind of public statements here.
Yeah.
So where do you see this case heading? What do you think the verdict will be?
At this point, I have no clue.
At this point, it's hard to speculate, right?
It is. It is. I mean, I know where I would like it to go, but have no clue. No clue. I mean, 2 men lost their lives over, honestly, stupid shit.
Yeah.
Stupid shit.
Stupid shit.
None of these people, even Kyle, should have been out that night or the nights leading up to it at all. At all.
So, the entire movement behind what happened to Kyle is bullshit?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
On the evidence that Jacob Blake himself said that them arguing about the police was bullshit?
Yeah.
Or the phone ringing while I'm trying to record? How about that being some bullshit? And I'll leave that.
But, yeah, absolutely. But either way, yeah.
Well, Jacob Blake being shot by the police for reaching for a knife in a vehicle occupied by his children. A lot of people try to say, yeah, they obviously do try to justify.
I mean, his babies were in that vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, he had babies in that
But not only that, he was just involved with a domestic dispute.
Yep.
So this is undisputed already. Sure, it wasn't at the time, and that's why we need, as a society, to stop the knee-jerk reactions. We didn't wait for any kind of jury trial for that.
No.
So it's coming to a head in society where when people do things that are harmful to their surroundings and expected to not be held accountable for that, we come to a dangerous place in society.
Yep.
Kyle Rittenhouse is being expected to, right?
Yes.
Kyle Rittenhouse is being expected to be accountable for the danger that he presented to members of society that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt already by video evidence to anybody that's watched it, were a harm to him as part of society. As him. He is part of society. He was part of society. He's a child.
Yes. Yes. I want to bring up, how about the DA saying that he should not be taking the stand in his own trial?
Yeah. Of course the DA doesn't want Kyle's opinion about the way people were trying to harm him. That blows everything the trial is about out of the water
That
for the
blew
prosecution.
my mind.
Of course the DA is going to not want the guy that was being victimized, chased, imminent threat of being chased alone.
Yes, but that blew my freaking mind when he sat there and said, you sat here and you watched all these videos on that happened that night, and now you're going to make your statement, and I don't even know how he said it, and you should not be taking the stand in your own defense. I was like, what?
Well, you know what? A good lawyer will actually tell someone like Kyle that, because it's true. Generally speaking, when you're on trial for murder or something like that, you're not really supposed to be on the stand to perjure yourself in any way or make any conflicting statements, because once you do that, they could get you on a technicality. Did you see any perjury or any kind of conflicting statement coming from Kyle?
No.
How about anybody else that we've seen?
Yeah.
And how did you perceive that conflicting statement? The Rotic Report.
I think I got it.
She might have it.
I think I got it.
She might have it. Or she might blow a butt sniffer right here on the mic, baby. Remember, we bring you fucking trains rolling through. The dog might bark during this. We're bringing you real life, exotic, raw, uncut. I'll probably just fucking upload this shit because I love my audience. I get flicked off by the red one. And this is life, people. This is how people roll, alright? So, Kyle Rittenhouse trial, back on track, right? Like that train you just heard. Yes. Exotic.
Anyways.
Erotic asshole.
Yeah, you really are.
So Kyle Rittenhouse, trial heading in a direction that you think that might be...
I don't know.
Might be butt.
Yeah.
Might be butt and you don't know.
Yes.
And a lot of people out there are asses that don't know. They don't know about how a firearm operates. Or they don't know that when a persecutor says, oh, a hollow point bullet's not intended to kill somebody the way that a full metal jacket's intended to kill somebody. Actually, people, they are. They are. A lead bullet is intended to blow a hole bigger.
A gun is a fucking gun.
Bigger. A hole bigger upon exit than the entrance wound. So when you have a full metal jacket, it goes right in, right out. But when you have a lead bullet like Gage had in his, and if it would have hit Kyle in the head, it would have splattered his head against that pavement. And as Gage said himself, his gun was aimed at Kyle's head. A lot of this trial blows my mind. And you know what? If Gage had blown Kyle's mind with his gun, we wouldn't even have this thing going on. It would have been swept up under the rug with a BLM protest, take 3 lives, and it would have been over.
And he's freaking dirty. He's dirty as hell.
Yes. Where's the skateboard?
Where's the skateboard? Where's the gun?
Where's the gun? How can somebody persecute one person and give immunity to another one that had an unlawful weapon at a protest?
It was a toy.
It was a toy. It was a BB gun. It was a Glock. Boom! BB gun. Right? Right, Gage? And that little innocent look. Can you, Gage, can you flick me off, please? Because I'd love to see if that hand can flick me off. Because as far as I know, a bullet blew through that tendon. And it was good. And the patron of Fuck Around and Find Out showed you exactly why you don't point a gun with whole point bullets.
We're supposed to believe that, that if anyone would have got fucking Kyle's gun, that they weren't going to use it on him.
Right. And the persecution's trying to use that gun to say Kyle was a danger to the community.
Yeah.
But Kyle was the only one in that mob in Kyle's group that was stopping the dangers to the community, hence fires, or people bleeding out in the street. And Kyle did stop to call somebody. He might have called the wrong person in hesitation. Like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? Notice that there was victims being attended to. These people weren't just dying and he like no.
When I was making dinner, I couldn't. I'm cooking and I'm washing and I'm everything.
Your life, right?
Yeah. So did I hear him say, "Why didn't you put the gun down? Why didn't you put your weapon down somewhere?"
Right,
whatever.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So he was supposed to put his weapon down and just go on his way and leave it somewhere for somebody to pick it up and shoot him?
He was trying to say that Kyle was being negligent just taking the gun with him. But if Kyle would have just set it down, he wouldn't have been negligent.
So
or left it with somebody unattended.
So if he would have sat it down somewhere and somebody would have picked it up and shot somebody with Kyle's weapon, Kyle wouldn't have been wouldn't have been blamed for them shooting somebody with Kyle's weapon?
No!
Okay.
No, because actually, it wasn't even Kyle's weapon. It's not registered to Kyle.
But Kyle gave the money
way
to
it? Right. The secondhand ownership, from what I gauge, is Kyle was buying
because
this
he
gun
had the gun in the first place,
when
so he was
turned
in charge of the
18.
gun.
Kyle was using this gun as target practice gun. Kyle only ever used this gun as a target practice gun beforehand. And then he never took it hunting. It was never used in any... Although I'm sure this weapon does have regulations on hunting, but in some jurisdictions...
Let's go shoot a deer with it.
You can. It's absolutely... Yeah, absolutely. Through and through. A deer.
Well, obviously, no, I don't know shit about
right through its heart.
Anything.
It drops in 20 yards, and you're like, yeah, buddy. and you got that deer. But like, you blow a hole through a deer with, like, let's say a slug from a shotgun.
Oh.
Yeah, it drops, but you're picking chunks of it up. So yeah.
So you have no meat left.
Right, right. You can technically just take a deer down with one shot, or a human. You know, we've seen obviously in video here on this trial that this weapon is with a full metal jacket, through and through, clear and precise. Right? Boom! Right in the chest, one shot. Some people here. Somebody swinging a skateboard at you, you shoot them one time. That's all it took. And that would all it would have took for Gage too, though, to make this all be swept right under the rug. You know, just another killing at a BLM protest. Another. Remember, BLM protesters have walked up to people and just walked up right behind them and shot them in the head because they were counter-protesters. We have protesters that try to burn policemen alive. You know, there's all kinds of
How
different
was I
things.
when this was going on?
This is happening in the summer of love 2020. You were attending to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know.
And I was like a little fucking doozy from the drugs, but I still remember this shit.
You were all doped up and I'm washing your balls.
Washing my balls. Exotic and erotic again at the Rotic. I mean,
I don't think anybody needs to know that, but
hey, they need to know. This is the world. People talk like this. Yep, some people are juggalos and not gang members and wicked and wild.
no.
And we're going to get to the nitty gritty on that soon, aren't we?
Yeah, sooner or later.
Sooner or later, right? But life.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Right? I mean, I'm kind of looking towards when they re-release it. I don't know.
And you think it'll be on freaking something soon?
Well, yeah, I'm sure it's going to go to DVD. So the United States of Insanity documentary is what we're talking about, obviously. Yeah, because clowns will never die.
You know it.
Yeah, I know it.
You knew
Yeah, but you weren't born into that life. Not a lot of us were, you know. You got introduced to it. And a lot of people don't believe that they're juggalo or juggalette. They just listen to it and, you know.
I sure the hell ain't none of them.
No.
I'm a juggalo.
And you're a juggalo. You got the beard and all. I got the bearded woman. Yeah.
I've got my witch's hairs.
Redd Rotic is because she's a bearded giant.
Yep. Now I'm a little midget.
Yeah, freak shows all around.
Anyways.
So, the
Let's go
Rotic
back to
Report gets back to the Rittenhouse Report.
His mom.
Oh,
She was breaking my heart.
well, I mean, the Rittenhouse mom kind of doofed a couple times, right? Right? I mean, she's been implicated by the media to have a big hand in him going there and having this weapon. And this is a real gun right issue. I get that. But also a parental thing, too, within the media. Like, what will your child be allowed to do in your absence, you know? Oh, he had this gun in my absence. There are a lot of instances where the logic behind the protests are counterproductive.
Yep.
So we have to look at the deepest possibilities of this. Like, why? Why is Kyle's mom agreeing with Kyle that he should have been down there about this school? I mean, like we said earlier in the broadcast, that we don't know what Kyle's main affiliation with the school and they said that Kyle really, knows the neighborhood, but doesn't have really any affiliation with anybody but some mechanic that used to work at those car lots.
Yeah, from like the stuff that I heard and stuff like that, like his mom drove him there and um stuff like that. Like I really don't know anything. Like I guess I would have to read up on it more. But like drove him there with the weapons and stuff like that. But then other things is like he was
All
given
that
the
came out
weapon.
within the trial as a false report.
Yeah.
The weapon was stored in Kenosha.
Yeah, and that his mom drove. So I really don't know.
And that is another major issue we're going through in society. How much raw reporting that we're getting from major MSM, the mainstream media, major reporting sites that are false narratives.
Nobody freaking takes the time to wait and see. First thing you hear, you jump to it. You don't wait and see what the hell's going on before you start protesting, before you start freaking jumping on it. You just rush into it.
If anybody takes anything into consideration about these things, it is knee-jerk reactions have gone mainstream.
Yes.
Just jumping to conclusion about every and any situation is now just the thing to do. This is the 2021,
And every news, NBC, ABC, every news channel, they lie. Every single one of them freaking lies. How about these freaking news channels start fucking telling the truth?
But not just that, when you do tell the truth, there's always a fact checker coming behind you that's being paid by these people to divert attention back onto them. Point them to the article that says, hey, you're wrong.
Yep.
Tell them, a lot of people lost their voice, too. The good people have lost their voice.
Exactly.
I got a fucked up one. I can make my fucking voice do some fucking incredible shit sometimes. And just say the dumbest fucking shit. Right?
Yep.
Nobody cares to use it anymore against the evil things that are going on. That's the exotic anymore. Good people. That's the erotic anymore. Because nobody wants to be real anymore. And because nobody wants to be real anymore, real people suffer. Like Kyle Rittenhouse suffers right now.
Yep.
Because right now, Kyle Rittenhouse is on the stand for being real. He says it multiple times on the stand.
Did not want
He
to
didn't want to kill
harm
nobody.
He
Right.
did not want to harm nobody that night. He was
Right.
not out there to hurt anybody.
There were
He feels
many people that
so
were.
bad for hurting, for killing
Absolutely.
these guys, for hurting somebody, because he didn't just, kill these two guys for trying to hurt him.
Right.
He also hurt another guy,
Absolutely.
and he feels awful.
Oh, 'cause, dude,
This is going to freaking haunt him for the rest of his life.
if Kyle didn't realize, he also hurt himself
Oh,
in
absolutely.
this process.
And not just him. It doesn't.
It
does
extends
not-
well beyond the families,
It
too.
doesn't. Not just
of-
their family, his friends.
Right.
And I've always said this and always thought
the
that.
general community.
Yes.
More violence came from a faulty narrative.
Yes.
The knee-jerk reaction.
Yes. And no matter how this trial turns out, it's still going to bring harm.
Right, because especially if the trial goes the way a lot of conservative viewers and listeners will want it to go.
Yep.
Because a lot of people that look towards self-defense rights will use this. This will be a paramount case. This case, the judgment here, will be paramount.
Mm-hmm.
This is why it's televised. It's one thing that we have to look at. It's televised. Why? There are reasons. Because it has to do with stand your ground. It has to do with gun rights. It is very high profile.
Yep.
And a lot of things that are going on right now are that high profile.
Yep.
Exotic. And erotic.
$30.
Erotic Report. Rittenhouse Report. Part 2.
Are you sure this time?
I think so. I looked at it. It says I see the spikes and it's moving. All right, so are we there? Yes, we are here finally. So take 30 for the Rittenhouse Report
For
Part
that.
2. Yes.
Whoop whoop!
We're sorry we didn't have the actual reaction. I triplicated my audio, so it really wouldn't have came out nice, and you guys wouldn't have had some quality recording. So the Rittenhouse Report had to be delayed.
Oh, we got this.
But we got this. Timothy Rotic and Redd Rotic reporting for the Rotic Report.
Hello, people.
Hello. All right, so quite a precedent today. Quite a precedent.
Yes.
Today we found out that a jury agreed with us.
But not just us. A hell of a lot of people out there.
Yep. So today, Kyle Rittenhouse was exonerated on all charges.
Yes. Whoop whoop. Yes, baby.
Because he was innocent.
Yes, he was.
He was innocent to begin with. The prosecution knew it, the defense knew it, the judge knew it. If you were a jurist that actually didn't know it, you know it now.
You were an idiot.
Oh, you know it now because they were like, you want to go home with your families? That's fine. You'll go home with your families, but at the end of the day, what's the evidence? And they looked at the evidence, people, and they didn't look at the extra. They didn't look at the reporter chasing the van.
How fucking stupid can you be?
They didn't look at the prosecutor aiming a weapon at an open courtroom with a closed chamber. Like, wow, man, the action was closed. Your finger was on the trigger. I don't care what anybody tells anybody, the action was closed. Your finger's on the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know that man, the persecutor, did not check the weapon. Yes, there was a weapons specialist in the courtroom. We all saw him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He had a badge on. He had
Yes.
gloves on. He treated every weapon with respect and dignity. Bald one. But
What did you just say?
no, nothing.
Nothing? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna let that go.
Oh, okay. So we saw these weapons being checked thoroughly, right?
Yes.
When it was handed to the persecutor, did he check the weapon?
No, he did not.
And then he moved the weapon towards live people after not checking the weapon.
Yes, he did.
Now, he witnessed the gun being cleared. There's the big difference.
Oh, did he?
He
Oh,
was
I
standing
didn't see
there
that.
to see it. He was standing there to watch.
Yes.
So, sure, that wasn't a dangerous weapon at the point in time, but you still don't like have
Wait,
a
Any
weapon.
weapon, loaded or not.
And the first thing you always learn about any weapon is to treat it like it is. Treat that weapon like it's loaded. That's
Wasn't
why.
that just in the news a couple weeks ago? I mean, isn't there just somebody in the media a big deal about that?
I mean, usually the Rittenhouse trial has come to a spot where America was waiting on bated breath here. We are on pins and needles, like tiptoeing through eggshells because we're afraid of what might happen as a society if people like Kyle Rittenhouse are found innocent of crimes, suspected crimes even. People were already ready to burn that courthouse down. Pictures that they showed were angry people outside that courthouse. We watched...
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Right, right. They were civil, which was good.
But yeah, now it seems like the crowd's getting bigger, and of course we expected it to get big.
Of course. Now, people are going to go out there and say that they're being misrepresented by Kyle being innocent, which is odd.
It seems like an excuse just to go out and just to do bad.
To create more havoc.
Yeah.
To create more Kyle Rittenhouses. To create more division within our country.
Yeah. And you know what? The media hypes it up.
Well, the media always hypes up the negative. That's where they get their ratings.
Always hype it up.
Not always.
30, 40 years ago, it wasn't this bad.
Right. Walter Cronkite, all those.
It's getting worse. And it's disgusting. It wasn't that way back in my freaking mother's day. Which, granted, my mother is alive. She would be well into her 70s. And it's disgusting, though, the way it is now.
It is. And a lot has changed with the way media is consumed.
It is.
So, you used to want the facts, a lot of the facts, all the facts. And then when you got the facts, you were the one making the opinion about that fact. Not the news already had the fact, made the opinion they want, and forced that view on it. That kind of reporting has kind of been lost to the waves. That's why you gotta have your media from podcasts to get that open-ended view. A lot of times when I do a podcast, I put the information I found and I will give the person every single link I've gotten my information from, so they can go ahead and see what I've read and make their own judgments based on it. The news doesn't do that. This is our judgment. Here you are. Yeah. And they leave it to you to go and see if what they've reported is even true. Kyle is a white supremacist, guys. CNN.
Yes.
MSNBC.
And I haven't seen anything that he is.
Right. Hey, there was never, ever any evidence that Kyle Rittenhouse...
I mean, our own president said that.
Our own president.
That's so funny because it's like, okay, all Republicans I'm a Republican and where's my freaking gun? Why?
Right.
Why? So...
You're a white Republican woman. That's even worse. That's almost the worst because you're not expected to finish any thoughts. I'm expected to finish it for you.
Exactly. Well, I'm racist, and I'm so far from being a racist, and I'm so far that pisses me off.
And
because I'm so far from any of that. And
it's the same victimization that they claim we do to them, and we're not doing that.
It's just so freaking, it's bullshit.
Not all Democrats are leftists. There's a big difference between that, but they want to put the Republicans as all Republicans are KKK. All Republicans.
So bullshit.
Right. I'm more of a libertarian conservative than I am a Republican. And
I jump in between both.
Right.
So I can't even really call myself a Republican. I jump in between.
There are plenty of ideals that the just basic Democrat have good potential.
The judging of both parties or any party is just bullshit.
Well, that's actually what is intended when you look at like socialists and communists and Marxist societies. They want you to lose all faith in your your country before they can take over. Because with faith in your country, they have no power. As soon as you lose faith within your fellow community and your fellow man, that's when the government has more power to take over. Like, oh, the little guy can't do nothing. So Kyle Rittenhouse has been found innocent.
I'm so happy. I can't imagine his whole family, his whole community that stood by him,
Yeah. How about the
celebrating, and how they're feeling right now.
How about the people in Kenosha that actually back Kyle Rittenhouse?
That's
Do
what
you-
I'm
Do you
saying.
think that they're being well represented within the media?
No. Some.
Have you seen a lot of people? We watched a little bit here and there of the interviews. You know, we saw the slight between the two different. Like, we watched ABC and Fox.
That's why I said some.
Right. So we saw that there was a big swing, a big bias between the two
Yes.
of who they were interviewing, how they did these interviews, and just to say that these two different parts aren't the same bird would be crazy.
Yeah.
So we're
It's-
just talking in circles with each other, if you think about it.
Yeah. The difference between, like, I would switch back and forth between ABC and Fox, and just the nastiness, the reporting, it's just so judgmental. He was this racist kid on the street doing harm, chasing these people down, pointing their guns, and then you go to Fox and it's none of that.
No. Well, the thing about that, it also had its own slant. It was slanted towards conservative Republican ideals too.
Which
you know?
would go back to that again.
Right. And when they would interview people, ABC would pick and choose the people that side with
Who they,
the opposition. Right.
yeah.
When you get down to the nitty gritty, the country is still the same country.
Yeah. Have engage on Good Morning America or whatever it is the next day, and he was just about him crying on the witness stand. He just knew he was caught or something like that, and it was just disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's not. Good morning, Gage. Line up for chow. That's
Yeah.
what's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's chow time, Gage. 8 in the morning. You go up, get your fucking
Oatmeal for breakfast.
get your oatmeal,
and, yeah.
get your coffee,
Your piece of bread.
go sit with the other inmates and look at Kyle Rittenhouse laughing at you.
That's what I hope happens now.
But
But
look,
nothing's gonna happen.
nothing's
to him.
going to happen to him, nor Jump Kick Man, who dodges bullets.
Yeah.
Jump
Since
Kick
they
Man dodges
supposedly know
bullets.
who the hell he is now.
Supposedly. But will they go after him?
No.
Will they ever go after the gross goods gun?
No.
How about
The
the skateboard? Right.
Nah.
All this evidence is now not even going to be scrutinized by anyone now, and that's even scarier. These are proven assaults now,
Yep.
but will they be prosecuted?
No. No. Gage was their star witness. Let's see how far that really got him, right? Because but Gage was their star witness that was driving with a DUI. What, 2 months, 3 months later?
Remember, he yeah. It's speculated that video is of him intoxicated.
Oh, he was. They know he was. It's a
He-
freaking DA, the fucking district attorney, let him go.
Of course he was.
Because he was their star witness. Just like he was a freaking, just like he, you know, he beat, from what I was reading, no, I'm not even going to say it.
Right, because at this point, all the speculation about his character doesn't matter.
Shit.
It doesn't matter. Gage Bruskowitz did not accomplish what he intended to do.
But the thing about it, he's gonna be on the freaking news doing his interviews this weekend, next week, crying about how I was shot in my arm and Kyle got off. He's gonna do all these little fucking interviews.
Absolutely he will. Remember the defense. Put that out there that
he's a victim.
He has 10 million reasons why he would be saying something against Kyle. Because he wanted $10 million from the city of Kenosha.
That's what you were going to say, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He ain't going to get shit.
Well, obviously now. But the sad part is what you just said is ultimately true. He ain't going to get shit. He ain't going to get charged. He lied on the stand.
Yeah.
If you think about it, he lied on the stand, was caught in a lie, so you did have a gun aimed at my client. Well, yeah. You said you didn't.
Okay, why aren't they prosecuting him for lying on the stand?
Aren't they prosecuting many people during these things? And that's the thing. Why are certain people being held to the standards of law and others aren't?
It's the whole way. Yeah.
Why are people that are reacting to these events the ones being held accountable for these events?
Where's true justice in America?
We found these truths to be self-evident that you do have the right to defend yourself against a violent mob. And that was the basis of this case.
Yes.
Does the average person, for whatever reason, have a right to defend themselves from a mob, a lynching? And we will find out with the Aubrey case here soon that the average person does not have the right to just indiscriminately kill someone.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Which is a totally different case, which we will be bringing you the evidence to also.
Yep. Yes.
I hope you had a good evening, and you also will go in peace. Kenosha will go in peace. And Kyle will go in peace.
Yes.
This is Timothy Roddick, who reports for the Roddick Report, telling you to always pay attention to your surroundings for the Roddick Report.
Peace.